on today, guys? Gonna make this video because we got a pretty good response on the last video. So we're gonna make this video on what to look for when you're buying a used car. Now, I own two used cars. One's more of a jalopy than the other. So I got some pretty good experience in what to look for when you're buying a used car. Now, I've made these mistakes, and I knew going into buying these cars the problems. But just something you might want to look out for if you're not more mechanically knowledgeable and you're not looking for a project car, then some of these things you might want to watch out for. Anyways, let's get to it. And one of the first things you're going to want to look for when you're buying a project car or buying a used car. So one of the more major things you're going to want to watch out for is rust on like structural components. We're talking like strut towers. These bad boys up here. You definitely don't want rust up here or anywhere where it supports to the body of the car in general. Like that could be a major issue and something you're probably not going to be able to fix. Also, like motor mounts or, like major structural components is really what you're going to want to watch out for with rust. Some surface rust, like we got some surface rust on the hood and stuff like that of this car, and that's not too major. That can all be fixed. But, if you got rust on these strut towers, like that's a major issue to fix these. Definitely something you're going to want to watch out for. So another more major area you're going to watch out for, this car isn't too bad, we need to get to this though, is right in these rear quarters back here, because these can be a pain to replace. And another major structure part of these unibody cars, because there is strut towers back up in here too. So definitely another spot you want to watch out for. Same with these rockers down here. Behind these plastic side skirts, a lot of time, if you just look under the car, you can tell if they're solid or not. And also while you're looking down there, you're going to want to look at the floor pan too. Make sure there's no like serious rust spots in the floor pan, because that could be another big problem too in the future. You could be gutting the interior and replacing that spot on the floor. So the second thing we're going to look out for when we're buying a project car probably is warning lights on the dash. Now this car has quite a few. We'll get inside and fire it up and I'll show you guys, because it's quite the Christmas tree I got going on in this thing. So definitely something you're going to want to watch out for. Alright, so firing this thing up, she runs real good. Fires right up, but, give it a second and, watch this, guys. Traction control, stability control, low brake fluid, service ABS system, so we got brake problems. This thing's got the quite a few problems, and the low brake fluid and stuff, it's full of brake fluid, so it's got some braking problems. The traction control doesn't work, so it probably needs a traction control and ABS module is what I'm thinking with this thing. But yet again, if you're not too mechanically knowledgeable, definitely going to watch out for a ton of warning lights on the dash, because those are probably just going to get worse. You're going to be running into some serious problems fixing those. These are all pretty basic things though, so move on to some other things. So another thing we're going to want to look for too when you're buying a used car is when you get the Carfax for it. I always recommend getting the Carfax too, by the way. And you're going to want to look for how many previous owners the car has had and the amount of years the car has been around. Like this car is 14 years old, and it's only had 4 owners, so it's not too bad. But if the car is 14 years old and it's had 8 owners, then chances are, then the car is not going to be, people just kept pawning the car off because the car's been kind of a lemon, and there's always been problems with it, especially if it already has some problems. So, definitely something else you're going to want to look out for when you're buying a used car, but yeah, so definitely keep in mind the amount of owners. So another thing to look for when you're buying a used car is if it's been modified, especially if it's like a sports car or something, now this thing is lowered, and as good as it looks being lowered, I have taken out so many things with the subframe bracelet on these cars and scraped so many things off the ground that, if I was looking to buy one of these cars nowadays, I would definitely be hesitant on buying it, knowing how much stuff I've taken out and, how low it is. Yes, you can raise it up and replace the parts, which I plan on doing, just raise it up a little bit, or at least replacing the parts that I've scraped in this thing. So, yeah, definitely something you're going to want to watch out for if the car is lowered and stuff like that. And aftermarket headlights, as good as they look too, they don't shine as good as the OEM ones do, especially not these ones anyway. I don't know how any other guys might have better experiences with aftermarket headlights. Just my opinion, though, not as good as the OEM ones. You know, they spend enough money producing those headlights, and they know what they're doing. Yes, these look better. The OEM ones are definitely brighter. Which leads me on to my last point here, which I would never buy a used car from a dealership. Now, any used car, I guarantee you, if you can go find a private sale on the used car, that it'll be at least 20% cheaper to go to a private sale to get and you have a better shot of negotiating your price too when you go through a private sale. Now, granted, you can't finance a car from like a private sale, but you can get a bank loan or a line of credit or something to be able to afford the car. And you should have if you have some money saved up, you should have the same amount of odds as getting approved to finance as getting a bank loan. Now, you have another benefit too with buying a used car. If you have a mechanic that you trust, you can usually with a private sale, you can bring the car to the mechanic that you trust, and your mechanic that you trust can give you his better opinion on the car you're about to buy. At least that's what I always like to do when I'm buying a used car. Is I have a mechanic that I trust, and he's really good with me. So I bring the car there, and he'll tell me if it's a good purchase or not before I buy it. So that's probably one of the most major things I would look for when you're buying a used car. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and please hit that subscribe button. You know, we're slowly creeping up, but we could use all your guys' support. And thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one.